Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
It is Masters Week inside the Lock Shop. We're very excited. Huge golf Masters episode tomorrow. We're going to have a couple exclusives that we already got live over at Coolbet. We'll hit on a little bit later on in this episode. Lock Shop, as always, brought to you by our wonderful partners at Coolbet. Find them on Twitter at Coolbet Canada. Give them a follow over there and sign up using the code LOCKSHOP to get a 100% deposit bonus on initial deposit up to $200. Huss, how was the weekend, buddy? How'd things go?
They couldn't have gone much better, Dusty. The Jets are back, which was a major question going in. We've got a huge game tomorrow against the Calgary Flames, basically a playoff game tomorrow night.
That's huge.
I got off the schneid and finally banged out a PGA Tour winner. Shout out Canadian Corey Connors, 25-1, second PGA Tour win at Valero. That was nice. And it just kept on going my way. I even cashed a Gunter Bianca Belair plus 244 WrestleMania parlay on Sunday night. So the stack's looking good just at the right time, heating up coming into Masters Week. I am so pumped for tomorrow's show. I cannot wait for Thursday's tee off. But we got a lot to get to tonight because it's a busy night in the National Hockey League. Baseball's back, got a couple baseball picks. And as you mentioned, we do have a couple exclusives up in the Coolbet exclusives for the Masters, and we will take a look at the odds, a few of the numbers that have changed over the past 24, 48 hours before we lock in our picks tomorrow when Pat joins us for our first major show of the year.
Yeah, and watch all the Coolbet socials for the Lock Shop play of the day. UConn -7.5 yesterday. Maybe in doubt a little bit right near the end when they cut it to 5, but then they pulled away. UConn winning March Madness every single game in double digits. Very impressive run by the Huskies, buddy. That was nuts.
They crushed. They were 13-1 to win the title at the beginning of the tournament. And again, this is not my area of expertise at all. I, like most people, pay attention to it the second that the bracket's out and look at the seedings and whatnot. But there were a few people that were pretty sharp that jumped on UConn and basically breezed through the entire tournament without much stress. So shout out to anyone that had the Huskies in March Madness.
All righty, let's dive into the National Hockey League tonight. Busy night. We've got the Steelhawks on Twitter right now saying Jersey in regulation, Florida in regulation tonight. That's what he's on tonight, Jersey and Florida. If you're watching on the live stream, obviously if you're listening to the podcast, you can't tell us what you're on tonight, but I love to hear what everybody's on. So hit us up in the comments section on YouTube or on Twitter as well. Huss, where are you going tonight? We're both trying to get a piece of Toronto against a guy we've never heard of between the pipes on the other side of the ice.
Yeah. Oh, wait a sec. Is it not Hutch? Who's starting?
No, it's what's his name? I thought I saw it. Just a second. Let me
Let's see here. Let's get the. I saw it earlier. We are
Jet Greaves. Greaves starting tonight.
Welcome to the NHL Jet. So that's not changing my pick at all. And just funny for the Steelhawks that are in there. I'm sort of with you on Florida, although every time I have bet them thinking that this is a game they just simply have to win, they've disappointed me this year. So they did not make the card for the picks today. And I'm sort of with you on Jersey, although Pittsburgh's the team that really desperately needs to win. I mean, we basically got a 3-horse race for 2 spots with the Islanders, Pittsburgh, and Florida in the East right now. And I got a chance to see Jersey close up on Sunday night here in Winnipeg. The Jets were all over them. I wouldn't say that the game was as lopsided as the score maybe indicated, but Jersey's going to be a problem come playoff time. Dude, that Jesper Bratt, he is unreal. I mean, Jack Hughes, Timo Meier, we know. I hadn't had a chance to really see Bratt up close. Really, really impressed with him. But yeah, Jersey's -164. That regulation bet, those Steelhawks, may be a little risky because it is 3-point season. And I wouldn't at all be surprised if that one got to OT. Anyways, to my selections. Leafs are playing the Blue Jackets. This puck line, I mean, I try not to get the -2.5 puck lines. I mean, to win by 3, sometimes it'll happen, but it really is a bit of a Hail Mary. And The Leafs puck line at -1.5, which actually I'm fine with too, is -156. I'm going to jump on them just to score tonight. Over 3.5. I would have loved to see if there was a number on over 4.5. Locked it in at -180. It's actually changed quite a bit to -216. So I'll tell you what, if you are in a position where you were thinking about the -182 that I've listed, it's changed big time in the last kind of half hour, 45 minutes at -216. At that point, you might want to pivot to the Leafs puck line at -1.5. So to win by 2, just adjust that down. The -2.5 is at plus 114. Although you could obviously go for that if you think they'll win by 3. I'll be a little more conservative on this one. We'll stay with the Leafs to score 4 or more tonight in this game. As I say, that number has changed quite a bit, though. It's -216 right now at Coolbet. The other 2 games that I like are late games. We're going to go to Vancouver, taking on the Seattle Kraken. The Kraken exploded last night. What was it, 8-1? Did they beat,
8-1.
Beat the Coyotes?
8-1, yep.
So probably a game where they didn't have to exhaust their top lines. I'm sure I didn't check the ice time, but I'm sure they were able to kind of run 4 lines throughout that third period when they were running away with the game. That being said, listen, losing that third period lead to Calgary on the weekend notwithstanding, Vancouver has been really good lately. Tocchet's got them playing hard right now, and I think there's a lot of value right now with the Vancouver Canucks. And obviously, they would have liked to have won that game against Calgary, but I think they are back home. They really are playing for next year, and Tocchet's doing a good job of keeping this team focused. And, hey, this is a rivalry game. I think they'd love nothing more than to stick it to the Seattle Kraken. This is close to a pick'em right now. You're actually getting the Canucks as a very slight home underdog at -105. So I'm going to roll with the Canucks. And then the other game, and this is one I know you'll be paying close attention to in your market, rematch of the game that we were both on last week, with the Oilers taking on the Kings. Now, in that game, I had the Kings +1.5, and I believe the Oilers scored a shorty to make it 2-0. And then you
Connor
had
McDavid. Yep.
You had the easiest win of the year with your under 7, and that one wasn't even close. But I really do still think the Kings would love to step up and play a real strong game against Edmonton, knowing that there's a very good chance these teams could play in the playoffs. And they're coming off a nice win, getting it back together after that loss in Seattle. So Kings as a home dog at +107, I do like, and actually put the Canucks, Kings, and that Leafs over into a parlay at +526. That'll probably be a little closer to 5-1 right now with the move in the Toronto team total over.
It's a fascinating game tonight. I cannot wait to watch it. I have a long wait to watch it because it doesn't start until 8:30 Edmonton time tonight. But that'll be a good one. I'm going to get on that one too. I might as well start there. If you want to play it straight up, I'm not against that. Edmonton and the Kings, 6.5 is where that line's at right now at +106. I'm putting it in this parlay here, so I bumped it up to 7 just to cover a push maybe at 7 here at -147. Gets the parlay to +401. Now, even though last week we saw a 2-0 game, I was still a little hesitant to take the 6.5 simply because there were a ton of shots in that game. Stuart Skinner made 43 stops in that game, and Korpisalo was absolutely brilliant at the other end as well. So there were chances in that hockey game. Just had 2 goaltenders who played excellent games. But I think with the Kings at home, last change might tighten things up even a little bit more. This could be a nasty one here too tonight. They might be too distracted with other extracurricular activities to really be focused on putting the puck in the back of the net. So I'm going to get Oilers and Kings under 7 on this parlay. Like I said, plus money at under 6.5 if you want to grab it there. I'm going to get on Calgary -1.5 at -154. This puck line's actually 2.5. So I moved it to 1.5. The Hawks have lost 8 in a row. All 8 of them by 2 or more. They have not lost a 1-goal game in their last 8. Every single one of them have been by 2 or more. I think that trend continues tonight. A game that Calgary, it's going to be huge for them to get this heading into that huge matchup tomorrow against Winnipeg. You might be able to try to make a case on the look ahead to the big game and let it up, but the Hawks don't want this. The Hawks don't want this. The Hawks are on full-blown go-get Connor Bedard mode, and it's been They've been doing very well at it, actually. They've been tanking as hard as you can possibly tank. And then I want to get a piece of the Leafs in the offense tonight. And you were on that Toronto over 3.5 goals, which I do like. I'm going to take Mitchie Marner here over 1.5 points tonight at minus 124. And it's so weird being in Edmonton and look at the numbers on these other guys over 1.5 points when usually with McDavid, it's like not even a value play.
Minus 300.
Yeah, the Blue Jackets have played the Leafs twice this year. Marner had 2 points in each of those 2 games, and they get a goaltender tonight that, I mean, who knows? Maybe he surprises and slows down the Leafs, but I highly doubt it. So Marner over 1.5 points, Calgary minus 1.5, Edmonton and the Kings up to 7 and take the under. It's going to be a parlay at plus 401 if you want to grab it today.
Yeah,
we also have a hockey exclusive coming too, so watch for that at Coolbet in the exclusive section there, yeah.
Yeah, we've sort of combined our picks. Just the one thing about the Leafs, I think they'll be a heck of a lot better. They lost at home to the Red Wings on Sunday night. You don't want to get into a slump like that. This is a perfect get-right game going up against a rookie goaltender in Jet Greaves. Yeah, the Coolbet exclusive, and check this out. This is sort of a combination of Dusty's and my picks. We've got Vancouver on the money line. We've got the Calgary puck line at minus 1.5 and the Toronto over 3.5 right now. So boys will get a number on that one. Pop it up. I would imagine if you're not watching this live, if you're watching it afterwards, I'm sure it'll be up right now. Head over to the exclusives and get a little bit better number on a bit of a combo play between our picks for today's action in the NHL.
All right, let's slide over to the Diamond, where it's been a disappointing start to the season for the Toronto Blue Jays. But Huss, you're expecting a bounce back here tonight. You got a little parlay happening.
Yeah, well, and it's funny. I've been actually done pretty well picking baseball games so far this year. But I've had a couple of really, really tough losses on 3-game parlays where I've had the 2 locked in and then 1 finishing up with unfortunate results. So I'm just going with a 2-gamer today. Jay's got to get right. The Royals are a perfect team to do it against after the loss last night. And my guy, Kikuchi, making his first start of the year.
You're the only guy in Canada who claims Kikuchi is your guy. Yeah. I love it. That's great.
This is Kikuchi season. It is on. He's back. He had the great spring, and he comes out tonight and makes a statement for the Jays that he can be counted on as a 5th starter. He's throwing absolute smoke all spring. He certainly has the stuff. The Jays can't start off 1-4 against the Kansas City Royals after losing last night. So we're going to lock in the Jays on the money line with Kikuchi on the hill. We're going to pair that with the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians have had a great start. They're 4-1 so far. And Shane Bieber, who's been a real reliable arm for them, getting the start against the Oakland A's. The Cleveland number was around 185. The Jays was around 164. Put those two together, though, and we're looking at plus 149. Drop 40 on that. Basically pays back 100. So that's my I'm just going to go 2 favorites, lock them in together, and try and get a nice plus 149 winner tonight on the Diamond.
I'm going to try and get a piece of this Jays game as well. And the guy who's actually had a much better start to this season than his first season with the Toronto Blue Jays, I'm going to go Matt Chapman here, over 1.5 total bases at plus 116. He's got 2 3-hit games already this season. Chapman, of all the guys in the Blue Jays who are seeing the ball right now, he's probably seeing it the best. So I'm going to go with Chapman in this game tonight for the Blue Jays, over 1.5 total bases at plus 116. And then have you seen the start for the Rays? Holy smokes, they have been dominant. Their 4 starters so far have been unhittable. They've got like 40 strikeouts between their 4 starters so far to start the season. Like, they've been absolute money so far. So I'm going to get on the Rays minus 167 tonight against the Nationals. You parlay those if you want. Play them both on your own, but if you want to parlay them, plus 248 on the Diamond tonight.
Just looking at what the Rays run line is here. They've scored 27 runs and given up 5 so far this year. And you know what? If you do like them to win by 2, minus 109 on that as well. Another way to play that game. But I'm certainly feeling pretty good. And obviously, if you're parlaying that with total bases at a plus number, still pretty good. Jumping in there at plus 248. And then obviously the Jays in Cleveland showing up with the plus 149 number if you parlay those two selections.
We are going to have a huge Masters preview on Wednesday, like our golf episodes every Wednesday, but it's the Masters. So obviously we're going to dive even deeper into it. I know Pat from Coolbet's going to join us. He says he's already got so many bets going. Huss, I know you're already got it. We've got exclusives. I've got an exclusive. Huss has an exclusive. But Huss, you've been monitoring some of these numbers and some of this movement. So is there anything that's standing out to you right now?
Well, I mean, no surprise that the three big dogs have sort of separated themselves oddwise from the rest of the pack. That, of course, is Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and Jon Rahm. Rory and Scheffler are both at 8-1 right now, which is, again, a much better number that you'll find at most other books. I've seen Scheffler as low as 7 and Rory at 750. And then Jon Rahm is at 10-1. Now, and we'll talk about this a lot more tomorrow. I do wonder whether people are sort of off the scent of Jon Rahm. I mean, let's not forget that at the beginning of the season, he was winning everything in sight and people wondering whether anyone was going to challenge him. He pulled out of, was it the Players, and didn't have a great match play, but you have to think that he's going to be there. 20-1 is Cantlay and Spieth. Tony Finau, my guy Finau, was at 28 earlier this week. He's now at 25, along with Justin Thomas. And that's a guy that I have not heard a lot of people talking about. And I mean, listen, I've picked him a few times this year and he's been okay. But I do wonder if people are sleeping on JT a little bit. And the other guy that we've talked about quite a bit that I locked in at 40-1 a couple weeks ago was Jason Day. And Jason Day is getting some steam right now. His number was at 30. It's now dropped to 28-1. There's a group at 30-1, and this actually is, so Cam Smith was around 25. If you've been waiting to get Cam, if you're thinking that we could have some live lightning at Augusta, this would be a good time to get in on Cam because he had been 25-1 for the majority of the last little bit. That number's gone up to 30, along with Xander Schauffele, who's always in the mix at this tournament, and Dustin Johnson. Guy with the couple of green jackets. No one's talking about him at all. He's there. Morikawa and Cam Young have gone up from 30-1 to 33-1. And then I think there really is some value in this next tier. I know you're a big Max Homa guy. We're waiting for him to break through in the majors. He's at 40-1. Vic Hovland, who's been the low am at this event before and has played well, he's at 40-1. And Brooks Koepka, coming off his big win at Live Orlando, he is at 40-1 as well. Sam Burns and Sungjae Im, Will Zalatoris at 45, then a group at 50. And Corey Connors is interesting. I got on Corey Connors like a few months ago at 60-1. Corey was 60-1 going into Valero on the weekend. He won Valero. On Monday morning, he was 50-1. Yesterday afternoon, he was 45-1. And now he's back to 55-1. So if you have been waiting to get on to Connors and you thought you missed a better number, I don't think it's going up from here. So 55-1 right now is probably the best. And he's in a group right there with Matty Fitzpatrick. Hideki's at 50. Tommy Fleetwood and Tyrrell Hatton and Shane Lowry and Patrick Reed all at 65. And one other live golfer that I think people would be paying attention to, Joaquin Niemann at 70, along with one Eldrick Tiger Woods. So kind of need to just kind of get a refresher of where things are at right now. We'll break it down and make our picks tomorrow with the most updated lines. But they do already have some tournament head-to-heads up right now. The group play where they kind of put 4 or 5 guys together and you're picking the top one, separate odds for that. Top 5s, top 10s, top 20s all listed. Make the cut odds right now. And then things like the top European, top lefty, top Irish. So that is all there right now. However, Dusty, as you mentioned, we do already have a couple of Lock Shop exclusives under the Masters exclusives over at Coolbet.
Yeah, if you go to exclusives, then click on Masters exclusives. You'll see numbers of Canadians, a bunch of Canadians exclusives. Greggy's golf special is in there as well. I like that one a lot, actually. I'm going to probably hop on that one with him. What's the number on Greggy golf special? Same as mine at plus 800. So we'll talk about that with Pat when he joins us tomorrow. I'm on this one. It's plus 800, so it's 8-1. Rory, who I know we'll talk about more tomorrow. You got him in yours as well. Rory, top 10. And Cam Young, who I was on a couple of weeks ago, loved his performance in the match play, played extremely well. So Cam Young and Corey Connors, top 20. Connors is coming in hot. He's been all around it at the Masters the last 3 times out here, Huss. So I really like him for the top 20. You can get him top 10 right now at plus 300 for Corey Connors, something to look at too. But I've got Rory in the top 10, Cam Young, Corey Connors in the top 20 at 8-1.
Yeah, it was interesting that you threw Rory down on yours because I did as well. And by the way, one thing that is developing, we're going to have to pay more attention to it over the course of the next 36 hours, is the weather. They've had 2 inches of rain in the last few days at Augusta, and they're expecting another couple more on the weekend. So this could really, really soak the course. And if that's the case, I think there's even a bigger advantage for the big, big hitters, the likes of Scottie Scheffler and certainly Rory McIlroy. And I don't know, maybe I'm just still in awe of the drive that Rory made at match play on that 18th hole, the best shot I've ever seen hit, maybe the best shot that's ever been hit. But I do think that Rory will be there. So Rory was kind of my big guy that I put in. And listen, I think that Tony Finau has the experience at Augusta. I think he's got the form. And he certainly has the length, if that is that important to be in the mix. So Rory and Tony Finau in the top 10, and a bit of a dark horse that we'll talk about tomorrow on the program. A guy that I do like to make an impact this weekend is Min Woo Lee. So we've got Min Woo for a top 20, along with Rory and Tony in the top 10. And we got a pretty nice number, 15-1 on that one, plus 1,500. So I've locked that in. Often we'll find with these exclusive that there's a ton of action on one side. Those numbers will change. So I figured I'd jump on it as soon as it was up with the nice boosted number. And so we've got the, Pat. Pat's, by the way, is Scottie Scheffler, top 10, along with Max Homa and Corey Connors in the top 20. That's another 8-1. And my number's bigger because, of course, it's McIlroy and Finau both in the top 10.
Top 10, yeah.
And then Min Woo to crack into the top 20. So a couple of the other things that are up there right now, any Canadian player winner. There are 4 Canadians playing the practice round today. Svensson, Mac Hughes, Corey Connors, and of course, Mike Weir. Number of Canadians to make the cut. Any Canadian player to place top 10, which is interesting. I mean, Corey Connors has done it the last 3 times. I do wonder if the length is even more penal, how that affects him, but he's been looking really good. And how about this one? Long live the PGA. DeChambeau and Mickelson to miss the cut and Tiger Woods to make the cut, plus 600. I might have to get on that.
Just to support the crew, I guess. That's good. All right, so it'll be Sprinkle City tomorrow when it comes to the Green Jacket in Augusta, so make sure you join us for that. It'll be about 11 o'clock, same time as usual for another episode of The Lock Shop, but a busy night in the NHL tonight. Gitch on the YouTube chat says, Corey Connors coming out party at 50-1. Sounds great, right? Throw 20 on it, win $1,000. Probably got to hop on that, right? You got to sprinkle Corey Connors.
Well, the funny thing is I was just looking in my open bets on my Coolbet account, and I guess at some point over the holidays, like during football season, I had won a parlay or something like that. And I have this random mid-December Corey Connors to win the Masters bet for $29.96. So for sure I had like that extra amount. I was just going to get it to an even number, then get back to the units. So I basically put the change on Corey Connors at the Masters, then at 60-1. As I say, it's been fluctuating in between 55 and 45 right now. 55 if you do want to get on Corey Connors right now. I wouldn't be surprised if that one number came down. Although this could be a reaction, as I mentioned, to what they're expecting the course conditions to be that might not entirely be in favor of Corey. And just quickly on Corey, while we're talking about these bets, He was top 10 3 years ago. Then he was 8th. Then he was 6th. If he progresses as he's going, he might not win, but he could get into the top 5. And there's a very nice number for that as well. So you cannot argue with the way that he's playing. He was so solid and steady on Sunday. Bogey-free round, I believe the only one on the course, and got the job done. So some excitement for the Canadians in the event. Certainly Corey Connors, who's been so good at Augusta beforehand. And I did have a little talk with my pal Derek Ingram, who's in fact Corey Connors' coach. He's there at Augusta right now with the guys, and said that he's locked in right now. So I think a lot of Canadians are going to get a piece of CC, and I would not be surprised. Here's my prediction. If any of you guys are in our DraftKings contest or just play DraftKings, Corey Connors will have the highest ownership in most DraftKings contests this week because his salary is relatively low. He just won last week. He's got the history at Augusta. There'll be a lot of people jumping on the Canadian to take up one of their 6 spots in DK lineups. That's for sure.
More on the Masters tomorrow. Tell your friends about the Lock Shop. Tell them to subscribe as well. And we'll talk to you then. I'll see you later, man.
Later, dude.